I'll tell you that, like when the Talmud says, when the Gemara says, Avnei Beisi, Vikoros Beisi, Ya'idu, the walls of a person's home and the support beams of a person's home will testify. And everyone who says it, like, they take it heavy. The mashgichim get very excited about this, Also, that the women the hair covering in the house and the house is, Big Brother's watching.
The beams are watching.
The beams are watching. The support beams are watching. I'll say it like this: the walls of our home, and certainly the people in our home will testify. Your negunim, your voice, are sharing a very, very, very real message and a very beautiful message.
Thank you.
And I was in Nova yesterday with the Chebra from Hask, and the niggin that's been with me this whole year is Yidden. And someone who was there in the group with us, started humming it when we got to Nova, and said to me, like, on Tisha B'Av in camp, played the niggin during Kinnis, on loudspeakers all over the camp and in the shul. I said, like, this is a song that couldn't have been a different time in history, meaning it wouldn't have been able to come with the style and this light and the sincerity and the intensity of such a thing. To appreciate Nishmas Yisrael, you're talking about Yisrael Asher B'cha Aspar. The Ribbon Shalom has such love for the Jewish people. If we would even know, if we'd be aware of even a little bit of it, just a drop, it would be too overwhelming. It would be a systems overload. We wouldn't be able to handle it. The light of Pesach reveals Nishmas Yisrael, that Hashem is choosing us from a place L'mala mitam v'das. So, like, there are people who talk about, but it was Simchas Torah, there was a rave, what was it? Do you know how many kids from homes that came from homes were there, and searching homes and searching souls, and beautiful lichting souls, neshamas yidden, were there to celebrate. Okay. The kelim are different than maybe the way that we were doing Simchas Torah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who was dancing stronger. I don't know. But even before the Kiddush Hashem, even before V'amarlach b'damai chayi, the Kiddush Hashem of that place, on Simchas Torah morning, the Kiddush Hashem of so many Jews getting together, girls and guys from different places and different backgrounds and different families, who are searching and yearning, who perhaps lack the kelim that Torah and Masorah and Shulchan Aruch provide, but the light, the soul glow is so intense. Al zenamar Yisrael asher b'cha aspar. I love you for who you are. For who you are, not for what you're doing. That's another stage. How'd you do in math? And how'd you do in math? And how'd it go? Did you do? How'd you do on your Mishnayos, on your Bechina? There's a place for that in the world, right? Did you do your chores? Did you make your bed? Right? Did you help Ima set the table for Shabbos? All of those things are important, and those are metrics in a certain world of Tam and Das. Right? There's an algorithm, there's a spreadsheet that we exist with. Torah, mitzvahs, halacha, we have that. There's something which is like a meta narrative which the story is written upon, called the soul of the Jewish people, which is Yisrael and Orais and Kudsha B'richu is Chad. It's beyond did you do it, did you not do it. It's beyond the black letters. It's just this white, overwhelming fire and oneness of the soul of the Jewish people. And when the Baal Tanya says that every single Yid is ready to give their life for Hashem, every single Yid is ready, is primed, and that a place of Harugim Malchus is higher. So, it's like you could hear these Mamari Chazal, and then you can actually live with it. And I'm going to say, Chaim, I think that your Nagunim are like providing a soundtrack for what we're living through.
Thank you. I appreciate
living through, and what we're dying through, what we're ready to die through. It should be for good. So it was just yesterday we were down south, and without even any prompting, I said a few words there. We were about to daven mincha, and this guy just started humming the Niggin of Yidden. Because what else you can say? That's Pesach. There's more mitzvahs, more halachas, more details, more products, more change, more everything to do, more to do. And in the end of the day, the Ribono Shalom is saying, like, yeah, learn, like you have, let's say, in halachas form, you have Chanukah, Purim, whatever, in one volume. Pesach is 4 times the size, 4 times the cost, all the preparation, all the time, all the effort, all the money, all the details, all the shilas. When I was growing up, the Blumenkrantz book, they gave you like a telephone book of like, whatever it was, what soap was kosher, with lists and lists and lists. And all of it, and changing the dishes, and changing the house, and koshering, and all of the pratim, and all of the details, and the excitement of all of it, it's all leading us toward this one moment at the end of the Seder called Nirtza, where we take a deep breath and we say, okay, Nirtza, Achen, yes, Ani Ratzui, I'm accepted. The end of the Seder is already written, the narrative is done. Not like the market, not like the football season, not like the sugya, not like the date. And you go out, is it going to be, is it not going to be, how's it going to go, is it not going to go, who knows? There's Seder in the world. Pesach represents God restoring and us kind of becoming realigned with God's Seder. And in the bottom line of all of it, which is already signed, sealed, delivered, is I'm yours. Nirtza. Hashem says, whatever you did, I love you. I appreciate you. You're here. We're here together. Korech, did you lean the right way? Did you cover the matzahs at the right time? Did the kids behave? Did you get to say your shtickle? How many agadas did you sell? All these things which are important. Did the matzah balls come out good, or did the non-matzah balls come out good? Whatever it is. Like did my vart go over well? Did they ask the questions right? Did everybody enjoy whatever? Was I too stressed out of Pesach? Did I lose my temper? All that stuff. All that stuff is one level. But then it's just neshamas of Yidden. Is just know that Hashem wants us, that we are Ratzui. Yisrael Asher B'cha Aspar, like you just said, like this niggin you just brought down. Hashem says, I'm proud of you, and I accept what you offer me, as long as you offer me you. If it's just about dvarts and it's just about how stringent and how, if you're on the spreadsheet, then we're going to have to measure what's in the account at the end. But if you're beyond those like scales of justice that if you're beyond that, are you naughty, are you nice? Do you get coal or do you get a dime? I don't know, whatever the tradition is of the thing, Like the real moment of the Seder is if a Yid can just take a deep breath, wherever we are and whoever we're with and whatever is happening and whatever we planned and expected and wanted, and just say, Nirtza, yeah, Hashem wants me. Hashem wants me for who I am. That's called Gula. That's called Gula.
To know that we're wanted, to feel it.
To know it, yeah.
It's funny, I saw a piece from Reb Tzadok about the idea that lost level when Gula comes, the Torah of the Amaratzim is gonna come out full force. It's gonna even the Amaratzim are gonna come out with the deepest secrets in the world. And I think that's this idea that a Geula mindset is when anybody is bringing out their secrets of Torah outward.
Because the secrets of Torah are me. Because of Yisrael, Kodesh Brichu, and Oraisa, God, the Torah, and the nation of Israel inextricably bound. And we're one. So there's understanding a Tosfos, and being able to be machadesh something, right, in some svara, or say some piece of lumdus, or a mimer, and connect this pasuk from here with that medrash there, and that story of this tzaddik here with that reference from the 90s there, and you pull it together, and that's wonderful. And that's person kind of expressing themselves, and that's great, right? You take a little bit of a song here, a little bit of a piece there, and then you bring Rick Rubin and he puts it all together and reveals the oneness. Beautiful. But the Torah of Mashiach is, Rabbi Nachman says, that every person is going to is going to all the struggles, and all what we considered and perceived as the failures, and all the frustrations, and all the would have, could have, should have's, are manifest and come out, and that's your mimer, like that's your
Who you are is the
that's
mimer.
your song. Yeah, it's me. Like I am the sugya. Some Sofer says that a person's name, shame, is the same numerical value as sefer. And there's many chapters in a person's life. People go through different kufot. Sometimes it's a little bit, the flame is a little bit higher, and sometimes it's a little bit lower. And sometimes there's more external expression of, let's say, Torah mitzvahs, and sometimes a little bit less. The market's up, the market's down, right? It's like this in any relationship with anyone, with a partner, and anybody who's living in the world. Things go cyclically, right? That's just the way it is. Everything is going like that. And in the end of the day, the Torah of redemption is when we redeem all of those moments and all of those times where we thought we were far, we thought that we had failed, and that what we were doing. I didn't get the ball over the goal line. I missed the field goal. Like I didn't figure out the math problem, or I lost money, or I disappointed the people around me or myself, or I fell short of in my spiritual practice what I aspired to do, and I didn't go to minyan, or I wasn't benching, or fill it in over here. All of what Mashiach reveals, what redemption reveals, is that came ataratzui. Hashem says that because there was we only see the bottom line. We're bottom line people, but there was struggle and effort and thought and pain, and maybe there was trauma, and maybe there was exhaustion, and there was, like Moshe, So'er Shebi Isa and Shibud Malchus, and it's been 2,000 years, and there's a war, and there was COVID, and there's this and that. We don't even know all the variables. So the Ribono Shel Olam says, I'm going to give you a taste of Geula. And I'm going to tell you that the last thing on the list of the Seder, Moror, Korech, Magid, all the math stuff about Yam Suf, I don't know, that goes on at the Seder. Like, okay, it's part of it, but it's not it. Nirtza. After Afikomen, you don't eat anything else. Like, they don't eat after Afikomen. I don't know, I grew up with Seder Mitzvah, so we eat like Seder Mitzvah. I don't know if you're allowed to do that, but whatever. Maxwell has the coffee and the Seder Mitzvah, but whatever. The idea is that Tam Matzah Befiv, right? Is that it's just just to have a
Tam Matzah, like the you were
Tam
found.
Matzah, but Matzah, it's just to know the last thing of the Seder is Nirtza, because you can't say this enough. It's the main thing.
I think it's so interesting that we have to we do Pesach with family, with Chabura, but you belong. You do it in the setting of you belong. Maybe it's not always like that, but that inyan of Chabura, your Seder's the time that you spend with people that you feel like you belong in. They're bringing this idea into you, no matter who you are, no matter what you are.
I hope so.
Yeah, exactly. We hope. But I think that's the inyan of that.
Totally. Also, you look around him okay, you get the Haggadah, right? It says okay, Keneged Arba Banim Dibra Torah, right? Torah talks about 4 sons, right? Let's say Baruch HaMakom Baruch Hu. Blessed is God who's called Makom here. Blessed is He. Baruch Shenatan Torah L'Amo Yisrael. So it's interesting we call God a Makom over there. But Torah talks about 4 sons. There's a Rasha, there's a Chacham, there's the one who says, I don't belong. The Rasha is the one who takes himself out.
Yeah.
And then you have the Tam and the Lishol. What kind of family is this? What's going on over here? Right? This doesn't look like some Edel Kanadel, Malchus Vaxberger, airbrushed kind of. This is not what they take the Baalei Tshuva, the guy whose house they take the Baalei Tshuva to say, look
this
at this.
Is the home.
It's what's going on? Yeah. Baruch HaMakom Baruch Hu. Hashem is the place of the world. Pesach is a night where we aspire to know that every single one of us has a place. So Hashem is called HaMakom. HaMakom Yinachem. There's a nechama in this. Nirtza. Right? Ki nirtza avona. Nachamu ami. Ki nirtza avona. nirtza, recognizing that, Ken, yes, whatever happened, happened. Whatever maror, whatever tears were dipped in, whatever brokenness, whatever exile and challenging and 49th level of Tumah, and whatever makat choshech, whatever darkness has taken place in your life and in your history, the end of the story is already written. You belong. You have a place. Just be here.
It could also be why Reb Kluger told you to not come back. Not
That's certainly why.
to believe that
That's
it
exactly
was all
why.
nichlal in there.
That's
It's
exactly
like you
why.
mamish, like...
That's exactly why. I mean, I wrote this Haggadah. Well, there's really two things, right? It was really during the war that it came out. But I said because I was having a very hard time davening, a very hard time learning. The traditional and classic things that were a source of strength and chizuk were not going. There was just an intensive amount of sadness and instability and heaviness and a sense of confusion. Also, like I thought we'd kind of passed this already in Jewish history. Also on a personal level, our families, like the community, like there was just chaos, kids out. And the only place of real strength and clarity for me was the imagery of Yetziyas Mitzrayim. Was the certainty of God's promise that we would suffer, and then that told Avram Avinu, I'm going to take you out, and you're going to come Baruch Hashkadol. I'm like, where are we here in that story? I started like thinking and davening over different parts of Yetziyas Mitzrayim, like as a place to draw strength. And I made a joke to my wife. I'm like, I got nothing to say on Pesach really, except that Reb Kluger told me to like not come to Seder. You know the story, Moshe? I wrote in the introduction because it's like it frames the whole way I look at this thing. I went to my in-laws for Pesach. It was great, beautiful. My father-in-law, in his heyday, there was no one who ran a Seder like him, and my mother-in-law, there's no one who prepares a Seder like, they're the ultimate hosts. Like, they were Rav and Rebbetzin, great, beautiful, they were Torah, memories of Reb Moshe Feinstein on Pesach, and like, our kids were loving it, we had a great time. You know my father-in-law, Chatzos is Chatzos. And like, I don't know, all the preparation, all the excitement, you're like, you turn around and it's like, wait, it's over? Well, like in here in Eretz Yisrael, we have one Seder. And it was over also, it was early. I'm like, wait, but what? We didn't even get going yet. Like, matzah and the amuna and the hevesi, and so I'm like, okay, I cleaned up a little bit with my mom. I said shir shirim. What a shir shirim, like I never said before. I went up to Reshit. The beautiful base medrash was empty. All the guys were out. It was just my in-laws lived downstairs. I said a shir shirim on the porch and inside. So beautiful. I wasn't fulfilled. I turned around and it was like 1:30 in the morning, and I was like, still had gas in the tank. So I walked to my Rebbe. From Beit Shemesh to down the block, 10 minutes spare shop. And he's there. It's middle of the afternoon. It feels like Laila Kayom Yair. He's there. I don't know what he was up to. He was sitting doing this, like matzah in front of him. Calls over each of his kids and holds them and talks to them, each one, the whole night. He asks everybody, do you believe Hashem wants you? Do you believe Hashem is taking you out of Mitzrayim? It was beautiful. But it was kind of like someone sleeping on the side, and I don't know, his wife wasn't at the table. I don't know. It's like it was the middle of the night. They were like, they go home. So it took a little while till he recognized that I was there. It wasn't a lot of people. It wasn't like it was, but he was like in his own little place, and he saw me. Yehuda came. You believe Hashem took you out of Mitzrayim? Hashem wants you. Okay. So I said, yeah, I want to. And he said, "Ani kol kach sameach shigata." I felt like $1 million. He said, I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so happy you're here. So I said, whatever. I was feeling myself a little bit. He goes, but I want to bless you that next year you shouldn't come back. You should believe in your own Seder. Whatever you need to do, your Seder is Ratzui also. You don't have to come here to get whatever you think that is. Taratzui. If we could feel that for a moment at the Seder, however it looks in our house, and it should be beautiful, and it will be beautiful, then we have like a taste of the Gula. Then you have a taste of Gula.
It's funny, I heard this story probably like midwinter, and like it was like so powerful for me. It like Mama shifted so much for me that it's not just a Seder thing. It's like an everyday thing to know that like everything that I'm looking for is like.
You want to write like a Hanukkah book, like to believe in your own Hanukkah candles.
Yeah, but I think it's a very very like powerful.
To believe in your own Shabbos table.
Yeah.
To believe in your own Ben Zug or Bat Zug.
Yeah, like
in your partner. To believe in your own tefillah. To believe in our own.
I think maybe Judah Klein or Akiva Gottlieb said it to me. One of those. I think maybe Akiva.
Shemus Tzadikim.
Yeah. And I was like, wow. I was like going through a process of like not trying to find like that heart inside of myself, like that Ratzui inside of me, and it was like boom. That Seder story was like mamish, like it's like your personal. It's not just klalis. It's not just like there's a Yetziyas Mitzrayim. It's like it's me. Hashem took me.
That's our obligation on Pesach night is a person should live says atzmo kilu yatzam mitzrayim.
To see yourself.
Yeah. So in the methodology of the Baal Shem Tov, right? So things begin internally. Personally, karval nafshi gela, right? So the way that we can understand that, and the language that many of your friends and teachers and certainly expressed in your nigunim that's coming out is, the individual and the soul's yearning for freedom, and the language of emotional health, and the language of alignment, and the language of feeling our place and self-acceptance. And you mentioned Menachem Poznansky before, and Reb Joey and Benji Epstein, and the language that we're, thank God, privy to and surrounded by now, which is a very healthy and healing language, reflects a desire to go from Galus to Geula internally. Yeah. Individually.
It's one of my favorite stories. You know the story with the Vitebsker? That they came over hoo-ha about, like, Mashiach's here. So I heard two gears of the story. One is that, like, he looked out the window or, like, smelled outside the window. Another one's that, like, he walked out. And then he goes back in and he says, it's not here. Like, the Talmidim asked him, I think this is how I heard the story. The Talmidim asked him, like...
They were blowing shofar. They heard that they were blowing
shofar. They heard that they were blowing shofar.
Blowing shofar in Yerushalayim.
And they asked him, like, why'd you have to walk out and then go back? Like, what's... He said, in here, it's cool already. And I think that, like, that understanding, like, we can mamish, like, no matter who you are, like, you just mamish get out. You can, like, and it's personal geula is a possibility. To really believe that is, like, and not someone else's geula. It doesn't look like necessarily that big tzaddik's geula. It's my personal geula.
And it begins with us. Okay, it begins internally with everyone with their own little paro and their own enslavement and their own Mitzrayim. It's also important to recognize that, on a national level, the Klal Yisrael is also in a situation, in a state, where we're, like the Rebbe said, in the last generation of exile and the first generation of redemption, and that the restoration of Jewish life in Eretz Yisrael has changed the Yetziyas, has changed the reality of the world. Yeah. And it's no longer just I'm working on my taivos, on my midos, on my shmiras einayim, and my gula is going to be shmiras hasadarim, and being mechazik and tefillah.
To break through yourself.
All of that is true. And it's also true that we are living in a time of gvura and bravery and sacrifice of our chayalim and of a civilian population in Eretz Yisrael, a resilience that the world hasn't seen before, and an awakening of the soul of the Jewish people, and a Havas Yisrael around the world. We're more connected than ever with through media and through technology, and that's a holy thing. That's a wonderful thing. That's how we know each other.
Yeah.
Right? And that has united or provided the kli for the world, for world Jewry to really tap into the experience of the joy and the pain of Nishmas Yisrael that we're living through in these days. So, I don't want to, I want to be in the Vitebsker's Cheder Avoda. I want to be in his office, and I want to smell redemption at my own table. And there are moments with Ora that I do feel that Mashiach is already here. And Klal Yisrael is in the war, is in a Milchemet HaShichrur, in a war for our independence. It's still in a war of independence that It continued in 1948 and it's continuing now. For us to clarify who we are, what we are, what do we stand for, what type of society do we want to build, what type of state do we want to build, what type of home do we want here in Eretz Yisrael for Hashem. And there's a lot of, a lot of tension, a lot of challenge, a lot of struggle from outside and lahavdil from within. And that's also part of the birur.
Yeah.
It's also we're looking to create Seder. It's also some maror to eat, It's quite a bit of brokenness.
The question is, how do we do that mar with a seba?
The tzaddikim would eat maror with a seba. Baal Shem Tov ate maror with a seba. And the Yid knows Asher Kedishanu b'mitzvosav v'tzivanu al achilas maror. That we take the good, we take the bad, we take them all, and there we have what's called the facts of life. You have the sweetness and the bitterness together. And Or v'choshech b'erbuvia. And Pesach Seder night reflects all of that. Salt water and wine and a su'udah. All of it together is the Jewish experience. And keeping our eye on Geula. Geulas HaPrat and Geulas HaKlal.
Yeah.
Keeping our eye on Geula. On a bigger picture. Pesach gives us the opportunity to zoom out and see a greater possibility for ourselves and for Am Yisrael, for our nation. I think if we just get stuck in it just becomes another shovim if it's about the Geulas HaPrat.
Right.
It's just another, Chumrah convention, right? And a race to how many Masechtos I've learned, as opposed to really zooming out. And that's what we say, Baruch HaMakom. There are more Jews who are observing or marking or recognizing Passover, Pesach than any other holiday. More than Yom Kippur.
Maybe you could say the Geula of the Prat is that you become a Klal Yid.
It can be. I'm working through this. I don't know. I want that to be. I want that to be. I wish that to be true.
They use this language of the bondage of self. Being stuck in, maybe my own Mitzrayim is that I'm stuck in my own inner Geula to a certain degree.
You're saying something very strong, and we're seeing that a lot in Eretz Yisrael today, is that you have people who are living and learning and davening and steiging and kavod Shabbos and living a beautiful life in the Arba Amashal Halacha Bilvad. But that's what God has left after the Churban. Yiddishkeit is broad, is expansive. It's a lichtige Welt. It's a world that's filled with light and goodness and opportunity. Culture and language and music and poetry and the guf. And the nation needs to heal out of a very restrictive, very defensive, very narrow meitzar of exile, as we're trying to be mevarer what this new reality in Eretz Yisrael is. We need giyus. We need people to be. We need more warriors in Torah. We need that the Torah is not just in the Batei Medrash of certain communities. We need that the Torah should be for every Yid. We need giyus l'kulam for limud Torah. And we need for the defense of the nation and the body of the soul of the Jewish people, not to be just for specific communities. There was a time in Jewish history where it was a natural thing. That people, it's intuitive. We have to unlearn what we lost in exile over 2,000 years, and it's taking time. The light and the vessel are not yet aligned, and there's a lot of tension around that. But this is not anything controversial or confusing or complicated. that Klal Yisrael needs to be healthy, and we're getting healthier. Pesach is a night of restorative night of health, right? It's this greatest moment on the Jewish calendar. The biggest maimed in the Jewish calendar is the Pesach Seder. More than afternoon shir and shovim, more than Ritzifa Seder, more than Alakas Neris, which are, exciting, but it's the Rabbanan, right? There's something about the Pesach Seder where people show up. There's more unique mitzvahs that can be fulfilled by the Pesach Seder than any other
right, and I feel
time.
like to a certain degree, the fact that we open the door to anyone.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
Open
it's the most
door.
expansive night. There's reclining. It's for everyone. It's inclusive. It's for children. It's for women. Even a person who can't afford to be a part of it.
Right.
You have to take the Arba Kosas. Meaning, we're saying everybody has to come along to the Geula train here. And we all have to do this together. And you hash it out around a table. It's not hashed out in shul or in the Beis Medrash. It's around the table in the bias with the Rasha and the Chacham and the Shein Dil Lishol and the Tam, everybody together, and we're eating the bitter herbs are on the table, and the broken matzahs on the table, and we're putting it all out here on the table, and we're a family. And we're going to have shaklavataria and questions and answers. There's no question that's off limits. The main thing is for us to be together here and to know that the Rebbeinu Shalom wants this.
Everyone.
A little gullus in there, a little gula. All your traumas and embarrassment and all the incognito searching and whatever. You know what? You know what we put on the table? Avosenu. Tchilas avosenu ayov de avodah zarah. Yeah, there's some idolatry in the family. There's some skeletons. And you know what we're doing with that? On the table. You know what? The brothers, they sold Yosef. That was a really rough moment. On the table. Broken matzahs, right here. All the brokenness. Everything, all the family narrative. Everybody's coming. We're putting everything out on the table. We open the matzahs, we break the matzahs, and then we have the deepest thing in the Pesach Seder. The deepest thing in Pesach is what happens between people, right? The communication. I mean, Yosef was sold because the brothers they couldn't see him. And we were stuck in Mitzrayim because of Makas Choshech. We didn't see each other. Almost like a willful blindness to I don't want to deal with someone who is different. It's too competitive, or it's too intense, or it's too threatening to me. Pesach is Pesach. It's about communication. Even if I'm by myself, I have to ask myself questions and answers. You can't get off the hook, yeah? And here's the whole thing. Mashiach will be V'heshiv lev avos al banim lev banim al avosam. Mashiach is going to be when Eliyahu Navi comes. The Taretz Kushios Abayos Teku. All those unanswered questions, Eliyahu is going to come. So we open the door for Elijah the prophet at the end of the Seder. And what do? We say Eliyahu Navi, Mashiach, all the questions, all the doubts, all the tension between families, between what David Beshevkin calls the intergenerational divergence, but we just call it tensions and pirud, right? And jealousy and misunderstandings and festering traumas and that are inherited. And we have this performative thing called afikomen, which is safun, which means secrets, that which is concealed. We take the matzah and we break the matzah. Which is the bread of faith, the bread of healing, which is our way of transmitting our values and who we are. We're passing this down. And there's this whole thing where I break the matzah and you put it and you hide it. And then a kid comes to steal it, right? I don't know what the minhag is and where you grow up.
I have no idea.
You steal the matzah.
Yeah, no. I do if you comment like that, yeah.
Kid comes and steals it, but you're hiding it.
We play so many games.
Kid's hiding it,
that
right?
We don't even know,
the Abba's hiding it, right?
Yeah.
But then the kid comes to steal it.
But then my father will say but we don't really do that, but we don't know if he's playing the game or not. You know what I'm talking about?
But he wants you to steal it. And then the kid hides it, and then, okay, we're going to go find the matzah now, and you go look for it. Can't end the Seder until I find this matzah that you stole from me, that I hid away, that now you're hiding from me. And it's like this standoff of I'm hiding from you, you're hiding from me because there's something broken. That I'm afraid that if you hear it, or if you find out about it, if you know my secrets, my lacking, that which is broken in me, I won't be able to give over to you Emunah, tradition. I'm not roy, I'm not worthy. But on Pesach, we put it on the table. And I'm saying, I need for you to take this from me. So he steals it. Then I buy it back. And then we put it on the table and we all eat it together. We all eat these broken pieces of matzah together. And that's called nirtza. When we can realize that every one of us has something that we're hiding, a secret, a sod. And I'm embarrassed of it. I'm ashamed of it. Because I don't feel that I'm roy. Hashem is not proud of me, or my wife, if she knew, she'd run away. She would. If my kids knew how inconsistent I am, or how weak I am, or whatever, they know. It's like on Pesach, it's like we're putting on the table, like we all know, because my father was too, and so was his father, and so was Avram, and so was Moshe Rabbeinu, and so was Yosef and his brothers, and so was everyone, and so was everything. That's the way Hashem made it. And Hashem says, eat the matzah. It's healing. It's faith. I want you. Want each other. Accept yourself.
Eat the brokenness together.
That's the afikomen. Veheshiv leiv avos al banim, leiv banim al avosam. We open the door for Eliyahu Navi, and all those dead ends and all those moments are answered, are resolved. Not because there's some clarity in answer, but because we accept that this is the way it is. And we eat that. And that's tam matzah b'fiv. And that has to last us a whole year. So there's something that moves, right? The higara to lebincha, the kana ben shoel, the push and pull, the back and forth, and all the sons and all of the family and all of Am Yisrael at the table, knowing that we have a place with Hashem, and that no matter what happens in our life, we're accepted, we're ratzui. That's Mashiach. We could taste that on Pesach.
I love that. I love that so much. I really do.
Like, what are you giving over to our kids? We think we're giving them over like all these good vorts and Lazamuna. Just giving them over that, like, listen, we're in this together. You know, like, Agamani. You're a little tzabrochen. I also have part of me that's tzabrochen. And guess what? Also, my parents did. You have sveikas in Amuna? Guess what? Not everything's so clear by me also. Hakol tov. Let's sing it again. Let's break this up a little bit here.
B'nei Yerushalayim, V'avav Hashem, Nidchei Yisrael, Yiravav Hanes, oh, let my people go, let my people go.
This whole year, I mean, Rahman al-Islam, everywhere you go in Eretz Yisrael, the signs that say, bring them home now. It's never sat well. It doesn't sit well. It doesn't sit well.
Let them go, yeah.
Let my people go. It's like the burden is on. But over here, what you're nigging, and it should be that already by the time we hug it out, and you go back to Shalayim, and I go back up the block, everyone's already on the way home. Has to be. But when you're singing, "Let my people go," who are you addressing? I mean, who are you talking to?
I was talking to Hashem.
Sometimes Hashem's saying, like, okay, you can go. I want you to be free. I want Mashiach. We want Mashiach now. Is like who are we yelling at? We want Mashiach. Like Hashem says, I also do. I also want Mashiach now. So who are you trying to convince over here? Like, let my people go. It's like, of course we're davening to Hashem. But I'm also, I have to say to myself, just let go. Tell me, believe in myself. Let go of all of this stuff. Like, Paro is he's not interesting anymore. He's like, Hashem is making miracles. Hashem is opening the doors. Just walk out. All these imprisonments, all this Golos, sometimes it's so self-imposed. Let people go. I guess if it's real and we're saying it to Hashem, we're also saying it to ourselves. It's a beautiful one. It's a beautiful one. One of the highlights of the Seder, one of the big moments that is like universal, big moment, like even like the Rugrats, like a cartoon version of the Seder, like, it gets a shout out, is that sweet moment when everybody puts their attention on the little kids at the table, the youngest. And maybe the youngest stands up on a chair. My wife is the youngest in her family, so like, gets up.
Does she
on
still
chair.
stand up on a chair?
Yeah, she gets on a chair and does it in Yiddish and in Hebrew and in Russian and in French, and it's like you want to schlep out that manashtana as long as you can, because it's like the kids have been rehearsing, right? Because Pesach is such a chiddush, like we're changing everything in the house, like everything is different, the dishes are different and the food's different and the. But like ironically, it's like the most not different like time, because it's like your grandmother's recipe, and that old serving dish that you see only once a year.
It's
like,
grandma's Pesach recipe, right?
Yeah, no, but like literally, what's the template is the template, right? And like we do things because that's the way we have always done things, and that's why people who are, let's say, I have a guy, a friend of my life who like, shul is not a place he hangs out in very much. Like, his daily practice does not include, davening and benching, and daily practice does not include, but like, he doesn't eat gebrachs on Pesach. Like, absolutely not. Like, for sure not. And like, his wife makes fun, thinks it's like absurd. And I'm like, no, this is so holy. Because the minhagim and the tradition and the rhythm of Masorah and transmission is so strong through the sense and the smells and the songs and the tunes and the liturgy and the chabura-ness, right? The way, the fiber that holds together, that binds together a family, all of those things that come out on Pesach, like those idiosyncrasies and chumras and the template. So like a kid gets up and man, ishtana laila, like not a whole lot actually has changed, So we got. Well, that's why people put out Haggadahs and everybody. That's why people buy Haggadahs, because everyone's looking for that chiddush, right? Maybe they'll find something this year in this Haggadah that I'll be able to say that will actually like help me get the point across, and like, I'll be worthy of giving it over to my kids. But it's this funny like dialectic at the Seder of like, we kind of like tether ourselves to the way we've always done things. The way things have always been, and like even the Shana Haba B'Yushalayim is perfunctory, is kind of like we're mailing that in of like, when Mashiach comes or whatever, and that's not I think like we're missing something there. When a kid, we ask the child to ask manashtana, and if a child isn't there, then we ask the questions to ourselves. We awaken the inner child within that place of tmimus, of searching, of yearning, of that habala tahir inside of us that hasn't gotten crusty and tired and krechzi and doesn't need reading glasses and is still youthful and yearning and waiting and wanting and habala tahir, and believes that like this could be a better tomorrow because they're a kid, they don't know this. We try to awaken that in ourselves, and we say manashtana laila zeh. Like, the world is changing every second. The Klal Yisrael has never been in such a place before. We've never been closer. Like, we've never seen such gvura, such heroism, and such love and achdos in Klal Yisrael. We saw what we saw since October 7th. And Manishtana, like, even if it's the same menu and the same recipes and the same liturgy and the same songs and the same customs and the same tradition and the same Maxwell House Haggadah and whatever it may be, I'm different. I'm a different person now. You're different. We've grown. A year has passed. We've experienced things. Things have happened in the world. Like we have to have changed. And Pesach is a time where we're able to, with fearlessly, with that pachad, without looking over our shoulder, to really be open and vulnerable and break our hearts wide open and have the shattered matzah on the table, and with our kids and our families and with our friends and whoever it may be, and everyone should be with the people that they love, and to be able to just be real and authentic and true to who we are, and everybody has their little constructs that we fit into, the Ben Russia, the Ben Tam, everybody has their little partsufim and their little roles that they play, and we all kind of read the Haggadah, and here we cover, and here we open, and here we stand, and here we sit, and here we accentuate, and here we scan with our eyes, but don't pronounce our lips. All of that is fine and good, but I'm different now. And if I could believe that in myself, that I've changed, I could believe that others also are changing, and that the world is improving, and that the world is changing. And then I can get on board and aligned with the Ribono Shel Olam, who is Hayehova V'yeh, but also the Ribono Shel Olam and the world and Klal Yisrael and Torah are developing, and it's all happening together. That's called Geula. So we should be able this year to, to appreciate how much we've grown.
Get this Haggadah. It's really good.
And if you want to have a meaningful Pesach,
it's fine.
There's only one way. And it should be freilach and kosher, and zufrieden, free, and sweet and good, and ratzui.
Amazing. Thank you.
It's so special to be able to spend time together. Thank you, and thank you, Hashem.
Thank you, Hashem.